Ladies and gents, welcome back. Holy cow, what a day. What a day we had today. Sorry, no videos this morning. I slept in. I was not expecting that to happen. Just right through the alarm, right through it. But nonetheless, we're doing the live stream as usual on a Friday evening. For those of you that are tuning in later after the fact, this is the time when I hang out with everybody in the community and we talk about all the stories that we never got to, or go more in depth than I can in a 8 to 10 minute video. But yes, this is the live stream. If you're tuning into this later, this is well, the long form content, and you can hang out and listen to this for a longer time than our usual like I said, 8 to 10 minute videos. Joe Lehman membering up again for 3 months in a row. Let's go. Yes, let's. Today was a crazy day. I was on another YouTube channel. That was really cool. I'm gonna get into that in a minute here. But anyone coming over from Viva Frei's channel, welcome to the community. I like to say this is the greatest community out there in the ether, on the internets. But that only just goes to show because of how much you guys have been. I mean, you do all the best things. It's amazing. We brought a book to #1 just by mentioning it in this community. It's amazing. Facts don't lie. Thank you so much for the $50 super sticker. That's awesome. With your very happy kaiju taking out that city there in the sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. And all of you guys. You guys are all the greatest. All of you. It's amazing how fast this community has been growing, and just what you guys can accomplish when you set your minds to it. Because you guys, amazing. And thanks for all the memes. I want to get into some of these memes. Before we get into some of these memes, I got a really awesome story that I was given to by a good friend of the channel, Invincible, and she sent me this. Crown drops charges against 7 Freedom Convoy protesters. This calls for celebration right here. And this is hot off the press today. Yeah, it just brought to my attention just now. But the Crown drops charges against 7 Freedom Convoy protesters. The Justice Center is pleased to announce that the Crown has stayed 49 charges against 7 Freedom Convoy protesters who took part in a peaceful protest in Ottawa. In the past 2 weeks, the Crown stayed these charges due to lack of evidence. Spawny 420, thanks for the 420 super chat. I'm not showing too much leg, am I? Well, you did a bit in our private chat afterwards. Every week after the live stream, we have a hangout in the Discord. Everyone's welcome. Come on down. The link is in the description down below. But you guys can all hang out with us after. I like to hang out and have a couple of wobbly pops with all of you. And that's what we do after the live streams every Friday. And yes, Spawny showing a little bit of leg in, if you don't know the context, Spawny has a prosthetic leg and he likes showing it. But that's the thing. 7 protesters participated in the peaceful Ottawa protest that occurred in January to February 2022. I love that the JCCF indicates that it was a peaceful protest, and saw thousands of truckers and Canadians assemble to protest government COVID restrictions and vaccine mandates. The protesters were charged with mischief to property, disobeying a lawful order, and obstruction of a peace officer. All 7 maintain their innocence and believe that the right to peaceful protest is essential for a healthy democracy, and I'm going to have to say that I agree absolutely with that. The Justice Center retained Ottawa lawyer Miss Monique Grenier to represent Mr. Rob McGowan, Mr. Nick Moyer, Mr. Michael Flannery, among others. Miss Diane Magaz. I butcher names. I'm just, if one of you in the audience is one of these people, I'm sorry for destroying the pronunciation of your name, was retained to represent Mr. Alexandru Niachi, Niachi and Mr. Matthew Monet. But yeah, this is really, really good news. I'm gonna look more into this and possibly do a video on Monday about it. But yes, this is great news. This is really, really good news. It's Clyde and the Intolerables. I like that. I like that. You guys are all the Intolerables. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it just reminds me of some of the chats over the past week that I've had on Twitter. Ugh, just the cesspool that is Twitter. The hyperbolic chamber, I like to call it. It is it's one of those places. But yeah, earlier today, I was on another channel, the Viva Frei channel, if anyone's heard of that. He was talking about a story that I got to earlier this week. So I broke this story, I guess. This is just you guys in the community reaching out to me, telling me your experiences. But I did a video about a story that someone from the community reached out to me and told me their story. American citizens that came to Canada and had to comply with the ArriveCAN app or not be allowed entrance into the country. And then from then, right as soon as they got out of the air or out of customs, they just deleted the app and almost immediately got a call from Health Canada with a menacing phone call telling them that they had to reinstall the app and tell them exactly what room they're in at the hotel and where the hotel is and all of that stuff. Nice of you to promote your startup YouTubers. How nice of you. Oh, well, I don't know if I get the concept. I don't get the context to that. Maybe I'm missing a point. Clyde works full-time and still has time to deliver breaking news. What can't Clyde do? A lot of things, but I just don't let everyone know about those things. Olia, thank you so much. Hey, Clyde, here's some Wobbly Pop funds. Yes, yes. Oh, I need those for after the streams. It gets expensive, especially in Canada where they decided to tax the ever-living heck out of all of anything that's enjoyable, essentially, and that includes Wobbly Pops. Wobbly Pops, indeed. But here we are, just hit 100 likes. Thank you guys. You guys are on it. You guys are on it. Amazing, amazing. But I wanted to get into this, talk about this. So I was on Viva Frei. He was showcasing my video, talking about that because he wanted to talk about the story there. And inside the chat, I was listening to his show. I'm like, whoa, he's talking about me. Hey, I'm gonna say hi in the chat. And then the chat was like, hey, Clyde's in here. Get him on. Get him on. But I was at work, right? I'm at work and he's like, I just followed Clyde on Twitter. I sent him the link. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing this. I work at a pretty chill shop, and boss never minds this kind of thing, especially an opportunity such as speaking on the Viva Frei channel. I've been a fan of Viva Frei for a good long time, even when he was just talking about culture war stuff back in the day. I think I first caught on to Viva Frei when he was talking about the individual that was trying to sue Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, for I believe she was suing him for defamation. But meanwhile, defaming him on Twitter and sending him DMs. Anyway, that's an old story. But that's how far back I've been watching Viva Frei. Great channel. Really appreciate what he's done for Canada. I really appreciate that. And it was definitely an honor to be invited onto there. But yeah, let's just show a little bit of what happened. So it was very impromptu. And let's just get to a bit of this.
Girl for 14 days. Negative test just because she's unvaccinated, and you don't know there is no can't go fast enough to there. I see Clyde in the background. I've never met Clyde before, This is one of those spontaneous impromptu things. Clyde, I'm going to bring you in.
Sure.
So-
Yeah. This is a bit
There we go.
impromptu. I'm actually at work, decking out outside and hanging out by the blackberry bush here behind the shop. But hey, yeah, this was a thing that a viewer reached out to me and brought that story to my attention. But it's not the first time that I've heard this. I've heard this in the comments a lot, and I've actually sorry about all the noise. There's construction on the road as well. But this was something that's happened to a few viewers of my channel, because I've been covering the ArriveCAN app situation and how horrible the rollout of that has been, and well, just how so many people just rather not comply with it, and everybody's just seeing, well, how far can we go with it? Of course, foreign nationals are having a really hard time with that because, well, they don't have much of a choice. As you indicated, you're subject to the rules that are around in the country that you're going to.
Clyde, it's nuts because they know where you live, they know everything, and if you don't comply with it, they can literally show up at your door and just give you any number of tickets. And so I consulted with a lawyer at one point in time. I said, like, okay, so what's the worst that can happen? The person said, I've known people who have been issued multiple fines in one visit because they didn't fill out the form on day one, day two, and then they racked up tens of thousands of dollars of fines, which they'll contest. Maybe they get dropped, maybe not. But it's like straight out of House of Cards. We don't give into the terror. We make the terror. And this app, it's terror. I mean, are they going to come down, bust down my door, and haul my 12-year-old girl off to a quarantine facility?
Yeah, exactly. And well, a lot of people, like defactors or people who are all for the app, they say, well, what's the problem? Just download the app. It's just like any other app. Everything else is tracking you or whatever the case may be. But the difference is you can opt out of using a Google phone. You can opt out of using Yahoo or any other service like that. You can't opt out of this. It's a mandatory thing. You're subject to it. The government says if you're going to enter the country, you have to use it. And some people are not complying with it. And yeah, there's penalties. They say that they are. We'll see where that. I'm not a lawyer and I don't give legal advice, but we'll see where that ends up with people fighting in court.
The big issue is for nationals, for citizens. Okay, you get fines, you can contest them. To be denied the right or the privilege.
Clyde doesn't look like a grease monkey. Christian Bane. That's funny. I am definitely a grease monkey. That's how it is.
To cross a border is a much more serious thing. It's something that's very difficult to undo. And that's what foreigners have to bear in mind. Like, you cross the border and you break a rule, the agent can be a total prick on that given day and screw you for a very long period of time. So I don't know what's going to happen to I'd be curious to hear what the follow-up is. But
well, that's it. So I've been reaching back to this individual. I understand it completely. They want to be anonymous in this. And I asked, initially they said, hey, I just wanted to tell you this story. This is what happened to us. So I shared the story with their permission, redacting their names, obviously. And we'll see where they want to go from there with it, because apparently I was talking to Dave from Live from the Shed, and a lot of people are interested in this story and they want to talk about it.
Actually, Dave texted me the link, which is, I think you know that, because Dave from Live from the Shed texted me the link. I was like, holy crap, I had a similar experience. Clyde, what province are you in?
I'm in British Columbia.
Okay, nice. And for those who don't know you, I think a lot of people do know you. What's the nature of your channel and what's your subject matter?
So I do commentary on news and politics. A majority of it Canadian stuff. A lot of it a lot of it branched off from the Freedom Convoy, because that's where I got my big start. I was one of the few channels actually covering what was going on at the time when a lot of people were curious about what was happening there. Of course, you were as well, and several others. That was my big break, I guess you would call that. And I got into it because I'm a tradesman. I'm a mechanic by trade. This is what I do for a living. I like YouTube as a fun little hobby, but it turned into this new thing where I'm actually informing people of what's going on with the working class here in Canada and what's been going on. A lot of people are just not happy with the the progress of our country and where we've been going. So that's the nature of what I do on YouTube.
Fantastic. Your channel is Clyde Do Something, and your Twitter handle also is Clyde Do Something, right?
Yeah, without the G, because I didn't have enough characters. There's too many characters.
Clyde
but here
Do
I am. Look at me.
Something.
I'm doing something on Viva Frei's channel.
Well, it's an amazing world. I saw, I watched your video and I said, to Dave, how do you know it happened? I said, ultimately, it doesn't even matter if it happened in this particular case. If you trust them and you know that they're not lying to you, I don't need that to
the
believe
person
this.
said they have receipts, and we went over that. So that's and like I said, it's they're not the first people to make this statement to me. This was just one that got really in depth with their description of what happened to them. So it's become a regular thing.
They do call you up. They do ask for your address because they do want to know where to come. If you don't answer your phone, they can come and pay you a spot visit. They need to know where you go, and they need to make sure that where you're staying doesn't have any at-risk people. When I filled out the app, and I'm living with my parents, they need to know. No, I wasn't living with. I don't remember. But they ask, "Are you living with vulnerable people?" As if to say, well, you can't go quarantine there. You're going to have to go to a government designated facility, also known as a federal detention center.
Yeah, it's insane.
I have no difficulty believing anything there because I know that it's happened to other people who've been issued massive amounts of fines for not responding or for violating the quarantine requirements. All right, nuts. Well, Clyde, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you afterwards, but very cool. So the link is in there. Go check out the video and check out Clyde for follow-ups. So
that was a lot of fun. That was really cool. It was impromptu. It happened in the middle of, early in my work day. So I was at work and noticed all of this was happening. So really excited to get to finally meet Dave, chat with him. And yeah, definitely it was a really cool experience. So, and looking forward to possibly going on his show. I sent a message to him after, just basically telling him a little bit more about myself, and hopefully it'd be cool to get on his show and have a longer chat with Viva Frei, of course, and hopefully Barnes. I'm a big fan of Barnes, to be honest. Lots here in the chat here. Clyde Do Something transformed to Clyde Did Something. Yeah, there you go. People asking about you, Ottawa Scotty. I don't know enough about that situation. I'm going to look into it. I really want to hear about it. He's got probably the best mullet in Canada, honestly. And definitely proud of what that guy's been doing out there. Yeah, us Canadian tubers do need to stick together. Clyde Live looks starstruck. Yeah. Definitely been following Dave Viva Frei for a long time, and really pleased to meet him. And you know, sometimes they tell you don't meet your heroes, or that kind of thing. No, Dave's a really cool guy, so I'm happy to have met him, and that was great. Congrats, Clyde. We're proud of you. Clyde's Canada's Russell Brand now. He's way funnier than I am. Definitely, and he's something else too. I'm not as lefty as Russell Brand on certain things. I think, was he a Bernie bro? He was a total Bernie bro. But I like Russell Brand. I do. I like people on both the left and the right. Just not the crazy far left. Whoa. Or the crazy far right. But you just don't find many of those anymore. Jordan Peterson is Canada's Dr. Phil, but smarter. I like that. Viva and Clyde. Wasn't that a movie? Yeah, maybe. Right Turn Clyde, right? Russell Brand is not funny. Now, some people don't think so. I think he's funny sometimes, and other times he just does the voices. Jeremy met up with some top fellow today in Cape Breton. No way. Jeremy met with James Top? That's cool. That's really cool. Clyde, I thought Ron Jeremy was your idol. Oh, I read that out loud. I just, sometimes you guys get me. War Campaign, another great YouTuber. Ro and Pan, great guys. I had Ro on the channel, and then I was on War Campaign before another time with the both of them. He ran with Top. No way. Well, Jeremy was a soldier, so I mean he's got it in him. No problem. Wife said I look better than Rick Mercer, but not as funny. I'll take that. No kidding. Are you married? Just kidding, bud. Way to go. Saw it live. I am married, by the way. Happily married. Spawny 420 with another 420 super chat. I can't feel my toes because they gone. yeah, they gone. They gone. They talked to Jasper today. Who talked to Jasper? At some point I'm gonna be going on Jasper's channel. Man, it is hot. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit, get some cooler air in here. I can take this off, I suppose. So I was meant to be on Jasper's channel a couple weeks ago, but it didn't work out, just timing and stuff. We're gonna hit base again and then do that at some point. But yeah, definitely gonna be doing a chat with Mr. Sunshine Baby at some point. I'd do something for chatters from Western Standard show here now. So I only became aware of that Western Standard show today, and I want to catch up on some of the stuff that they do there. I like some of the topics in some of the videos that they had. So I'd like to check out more of that. But something about they'd mentioned me, or the chat was talking about me over there. So appreciate it. Anyone who's coming over from that group, from that channel. Awesome to see you here. What else we have? That was an awesome impromptu. You poking into his chat like that. I just popped in because I heard it. I was listening to his live stream while I was at work, and that was it. Scotty and Clyde need to collab. Set that up. I haven't talked to Scotty before, and I would like to. That's definitely something I would like to get onto. United People's Church needs to scrap the Tree of Life logo. I don't know why. Why is that a thing? Is that a weird logo to have? Isn't that like a hippie logo of like just, everything comes together? I saw the logo. It looked very generic. WS Corey Morgan's Triggered show final episode today. It was the final episode, so they're not doing it anymore. The Western Standard. Anyway, I definitely will be checking that out. Crazy busy day though, because I heard about it today, and then next thing I know, I'm doing impromptu chat with Viva Frei. So, and then today it was also a really hectic day in the shop. I had to get a lot of work done to get going for the weekend. People don't realize, like, when you work as a mechanic, there's people want their cars by the weekend, and Friday often ends up being this real hectic thing before you get things out the door. Sometimes we try to schedule Fridays really light for just that reason, but holy cow, people want their cars and they're upset when they can't get it. That's for sure. But it's just how things go. The Western Standard noon show is gone as of today. Oh, okay. I'm guessing they're still doing other things. Anyway, I'm gonna check that out for sure. But I wanted to get into some of these stories about things that are going on today. This one, I just could not hold my tongue for putting this one out on the social media, and also talking about this in this live stream. Now, I don't think I'll be making a video on it, but I for a long time I was a fan of Sam Harris, and I thought he was, a brilliant mind in today's age. He was pushing this like atheism thing. I followed a lot during that movement. I read a lot of Richard Dawkins. I like Richard Dawkins' writings, but Sam Harris went just off the deep end when Donald Trump became the president of the United States of America. This is when you can have people that are genuinely seem like smart people just absolutely lose their mind and go bonkers over one particular thing. So just because you're smart in one particular specialized field, or you have a lot of knowledge on one particular subject, doesn't mean that you're smart in all aspects. But this is often what comes out of academia. And this is why I am an advocate for the separation of academia and state. Just like the founding fathers of the United States were against the idea of church and state. They wanted the separation of those two entities, and I believe we should be going in the same direction when it comes to academia. I think these institutions should not have the power that they have in influencing public discourse, and because it's become politicized. Not only that, is that the institutions are now destroyed because they wield so much power in politics that now the politicians go to academia and influence academia. So we no longer have decent science anymore. We have the science. It's the Church of Science anymore. We don't have science because it's so irrationally, in my opinion, politicized. And this is how things have been going. Your power is growing, Clyde. What is it? I have never listened to Sam Harris. He's a very smart guy when it comes to, and I followed him for a lot of what he was, his work in his field, in brain science, and that's what's interesting to me. So like, the science of how the mind works and all of this stuff. And he's a big proponent of people, even though he was so anti-religious, he always advocated for things like meditation and that. And I agree with all of that stuff, but he lost his mind absolutely. So this these are my words here. I said, what a plutocratic, self-righteous, anti-democratic twat. Sam Harris is so high on the knowledge he has in a specialized field that he believes he's smart enough to know what's best for you all. Consent of the informed majority be damned. And this is in response to, he was on a podcast called Trigonometry, and I like the show. Interesting dynamic is two hosts, and they interview together, and they're very, very British. They have like working class British accents, and it's a great show. They're both great hosts. Their names I'm drawing a blank on, but I watched many of their podcasts and clips from their show, and I really like what they're doing. But they had Sam Harris on, and he absolutely embarrassed himself here because of his take on, well, the removal of Donald Trump. Let's just let him speak for himself. This is just absurd. I'm gonna get my headphones on for this so you don't get an echo. But absolutely just mind-blowing.
In his basement, I would not have cared, right? It's like there's nothing. First of all, it's Hunter Biden, right? It's not Joe Biden, but
so right out of the gates, what? He could have had children in his basement, and I wouldn't have cared. But whatever.
I mean, Hunter Biden at that point, Hunter Biden literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement. I would not have cared, right? It's like there's nothing. First of all, it's Hunter Biden, right? It's not Joe Biden, but even if whatever scope of Joe Biden's corruption is, like if we could just go down that rabbit hole endlessly and understand that he's getting kickbacks from Hunter Biden's deals in Ukraine or wherever else, right, or China, it is infinitesimal compared to the corruption we know Trump is involved in.
So it's infinitesimal. Why don't you just say it's small in comparison? People that use big words for the sake of using a big word annoy me a lot. There's no point to doing that except to stroke your own ego, and that's all you're getting out of it. Most people listen to a person who uses a word, or it looks like they just went to a thesaurus and tried to find the big word for the little thing that they're talking about. It's embarrassing. I mean, that's a bit of a personal hit on his character here, but it's what he's saying here. It's what he's saying. He's saying that it wouldn't matter how bad. It doesn't matter how bad what Trump or what Hunter did or what Biden did, even if it was Biden and they're enriching themselves by selling the country off to dictators in China and embezzling and all this stuff. It wouldn't matter because it's nothing compared to what Trump did. And this reminds me of another clip, and this one cracks me up so much every time. And this was from the news where a guy is so upset about Donald Trump, and he really just let him speak for himself.
Is this unprecedented to arrest a former president for not turning in documents?
A former president that had committed this many provable criminal acts.
But what are the provable criminal acts, I guess?
Provable criminal acts. Well, I'm done talking. President that...
I'm done talking. As soon as I have to make a statement, an affirmative statement, and then you just asked, what do you mean by that affirmative statement? I don't know. I'm done talking to you. Get out of here. Get out of here. And this is what Sam Harris is doing here. And then he's saying it's so bad. It's so bad what a democratically elected leader was. He didn't care. And let's just continue listening to this.
Compared to the corruption we know Trump is involved in. It's like a firefly to the sun, right? I mean, like there's just it doesn't even stack up against Trump University.
Oh, okay. So that's your example, Trump University. So what is Trump University? Trump University is a story about a side business that Trump was trying to do, where the product sucked. He had this business where it was like, I'm going to teach you how to be a real estate mogul like me. Look at me, I'm a big successful real estate mogul. So he makes this class about this how to be Orange Man. You know what I mean? And people didn't like it, and it sucked. It was a terrible, it was a terrible product. And what happened? The people sued him for a bad product, and it just closed down. And then he paid. He owed them damages for selling them a bad product. That is worse than embezzling taxpayer money overseas, selling secrets to foreign countries, and using your power to enrich yourself in foreign because of the power that you wield. No, having a crappy university is so much worse. It's so much worse in the eyes of Sam Harris, and that alone, just looking at that is enough to get rid of this guy and skirt. Well, I'm jumping the gun here. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Right. Trump University as a story is worse than anything that could be in Hunter Biden's laptop, in my view. Right.
Is worse than negotiating crack with prostitutes. This is really this guy. I mean, he's so smart elsewhere, and this is just so dumb. This is just and you can see, look at this guy's face. Look at the look on his face. Just like, these are the words coming out of your face? Like, is that what did we do here? Did we get the wrong guy for this interview? I thought we were going to be talking to one of the smartest guys on the planet. I thought, isn't that what we scheduled in? What's going on here?
Now, that doesn't answer the people who say it's still completely unfair to not have looked at the laptop in a timely way and to have shut down the New York Post's Twitter account. Like that's just a conspiracy. That's a left-wing conspiracy to deny the presidency to Donald Trump. Absolutely, it was.
Absolutely, it was a conspiracy to deny the proper functioning of an electoral process. Absolutely, and he's okay with that.
Absolutely, right. But I think it was warranted, right? And again, it's a coin toss as to whether or not
Sam, I'm sorry.
that particular piece.
I'm really sorry. I was the one that said we should move
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
but you've just
Go, yeah.
said something I really struggle
Go for
with
it.
there, which is you support
the kids in the basement.
you no.
No, the subverting democracy, you dummy. What? The kids in the basement you think was like the controversial thing that you said? No, it's the subversion of democracy, and the fact that you would be okay with that. Now, by no means am I, and for the terms of service on YouTube, by no means am I saying that anything went wrong in any election, and all elections up until this day have been super, super clean. They're the cleanest that they could ever be. This is my disclaimer. It was the most perfect election ever held. I am not making any statements otherwise. This is except for 2016. That might be a different story. But hey, just making sure the overlords don't get the wrong impression of what I'm saying here. Let's just move on with this.
No, fuck the kids in the basement. I'm interested in democracy. You're saying you are content with a left-wing conspiracy to prevent somebody being democratically re-elected as president.
Well, no, I'm content. Well, but the thing is, it's just not left wing, right? So Liz Cheney is not left wing.
A lot of people would beg to differ. By the way, she's gone. She gone. The Cheneys are all gone now. That's the end of that.
Right. Liz Cheney is
You're
doing
content
everything
with
in
a
her power.
conspiracy to prevent somebody being
but
democratically
it's not
elected.
but there's nothing conspiracy. It's not. It was a conspiracy out in the open. But it doesn't matter if it was. It doesn't matter what part's conspiracy, what part's out in the open. I mean, I think it's like, if people get together and talk about what should we do about this phenomenon, you know, if it's like if there was an asteroid hurtling toward Earth, and we got in a room together with all of our friends and had a conversation about what we could do to deflect its course, right? Is that a conspiracy? You know, like some of.
Okay, on his last point there, when he's talking about the asteroid. So what he's done here is now he's actually making an analogy that Donald Trump is like an asteroid and it needs to be stopped. Now, if there was an asteroid hurling towards Earth, do you think 50% or more people would be content on saying, no, I want that asteroid here? It's a bad analogy. It's a bad analogy because there is a huge amount of people that voted for the guy to be the president of the United States. Nobody's voting for an asteroid to hit the Earth, Sam Harris. You're supposed to be one of the smartest guys on the planet here, and you can't even put together a literary device called an analogy that makes sense to the situation. I really disagree with that entire premise of it being this horrible thing that's about to attack or destroy the Earth. Even though you believe that Donald Trump was going to destroy the country and all of that stuff, it's a very, very bad analogy. It's a horrible take. Apparently later he came out with a non-apology on his Twitter to tell everyone that no, he didn't mean what he said, but without apologizing for it. Can I find this actually? Why don't I get? And this is why I said, what a plutocratic, self-righteous, anti-democratic twat. And that's exactly it. There's this idea that society should be run by all the smart people. Well, they're not all smart about all the things. You know, you may have a guy who's really, really good with neuroscience, like this guy, and is completely out to lunch when it comes to the idea of democratic rule and how, well, we could just, let's just skirt democracy for my cause. Because it's a bad one. It's you guy's a bad guy, right? So I don't like him. Let's just entirely skirt democracy for this. I'm sorry. The whole concept of what he was going on about is just so ignoramus. It's so out to lunch, so far gone for a guy who's supposed to be amazingly smart. And like I said, he's so intelligent when it comes to his specialized field in this. But yeah, he threw up an apology. I wonder if I can find it. Let me just get out there. Sam Harris. Needless to say, I don't follow him. But is it going to be impossible to find his Twitter now? Because probably there's his Twitter. So on his Twitter, we have there is a podcast clip circulating that seems to be confusing many people about my views on Trump, which is understandable because I wasn't speaking very clearly. No, you were very clear. We just went over this. You were very clear that you were okay with the idea of the subversion of democracy because of the asteroid that's coming at Earth, that 50% of the public is voting for the asteroid to hit the planet. Nice analogy, smart guy. So for what it's worth, here is what I was trying to say. So this is this type of BS that you hear a lot of times from people who believe that they're overly smart. Is the so what you thought is not actually what was going on. And here, let me over explain to you why you're wrong about what you heard. Get out of town. Get out of town. No, just admit what you've. And here's the thing. If he came out today and just said, you know what, I don't know where my head was, I'm totally wrong about that. What a backwards idea to want to subvert democracy. What am I thinking? It's just, I don't know. I lost my head. I don't like Orange Man. He says rude things to people, and I don't like him. And I lost my head. Just come out and say that. But no, yeah, exactly. It's called gaslighting, Casey Yoga Love. It's absolutely that. It's gaslighting. But you get it from a lot of these academia types. And it's just a thing. It's just a thing. I had it once, a friend of mine, and I had this once. A friend of mine was saying something about Mexico and said it was South America. And I was like, no, it's in North America. And he's like, no, it clearly isn't. I'm like, dude, I'm from that continent. This is when I lived in Japan. And he didn't want to be wrong. So he went and looked up some Wikipedia article that said most people consider Mexico to be on par with geopolitically with South American countries. And he's like, see, I told you I was right. And it's like, oh, dude, it's right there. Use North America. There's a country in there called Mexico. It's just one of those things, right? Yeah, Sam needs to see a doctor. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's a thing that happened. I need to stop talking about Sam Harris right now because it's getting me riled up. And you know what happens when I get riled up? The streams go on forever and I don't get to any of the topics that I wanted to talk about. Why don't we get into some of the memes that we had this week? I know you guys love the memes. Just going to put some of these ones from the Discord. For those that are not part of the Discord, our Discord community has some of the best memes and great conversations going on all the time. Link is down in the description down below. You can become a member of the Discord community. It costs nothing, zero. Come hang out. I have wobbly pops after the stream with all the members of the community, so you can always come down and join along for that and just come hang out. It's everybody's chatting and talking about different things. We do like a video conference call. You don't even have to chat if you don't want to. You can just jump in and listen in. No problem. Nobody bats an eyelash to that kind of thing. Anyway, great memes, and everybody's been posted them, so I had to just share some of these ones. I love this one. It's the emoji, the Justin Trudeau emoji. You can customize the color. That one kills me. Where are we? Some of the other good ones here. This one I personally liked, and this is when your daughter asks you why she has to study, show her this picture. And also when your son asks you why he has to study, show him this picture. Same picture. Beautiful, beautiful. What else? I posted this one. This is the guy that calls you Trump tard on Facebook. Oh, feelings hurt. This one was great. This one got me into some funny conversations this week because I posted it on Twitter. That was pretty funny. You can't call us groomers, Wojak cry meme. And then, yeah, you called me Stasi for 6 years. Of course. Of course. What else have we got? There's a bunch of good ones. Hold on, let me just close some of these other ones. Lots of IRS memes coming out this week. New IRS agents being addressed at their graduation ceremony. Oh, I love it. This was brought up about in the Sam Harris video, but this is the Cheneys, 1974 to 2022. You gone. That's the end of that. No more Liz Cheney, and that's a fact. My daily struggle. I deal with this one all the time. Daily struggle. It's funny. Just post this. Will this get me banned again? Too many good ones. What else should we look at here? Waiting for the FBI raid to Ghislaine Maxwell's client list. Yeah, that one is never coming. This one killed me. Maybe some people in the chat will get this one. Not everyone gets it. Patrick Yan, happy Friday to my second favorite Canadian. Uh-oh. Who's your first? Now you got me curious. I want to know. Here we go. Accounts payable. Accounts receivable. This is the Chinese housing market. Oh, oof. All right, so some people got it. That's good. What else have we here? Some other good ones. This one's just creepy. Really creepy. This is a thing that they actually shared at schools, I believe. And it's don't be afraid. If a stranger walks up to you, no need to be scared. Usually they don't mean any harm. Don't scream or cry. This can hurt the person's feelings. Do not call him pedophile. This can be just as offensive as the N-word. I want to know where this is from. I saw this posted in the meme channel, but this, like, with today's climate, this seems legit. But yeah, no, kids, don't talk to strangers. Stay away from the strangers. Stranger danger, absolutely. I liked this one a lot. This one's really good for the housing market in Canada. Just remember, if things get bad, 1995, and you can move to the mountains in a new U-house. Oh, I love it. Instead of U-Haul. Amazing. And of course, can't go a whole stream without a bug meme. Eating the bugs. This is the new and improved ticks. Comes with 2 in each package. There we go. Uh-oh. Best adult dating site. Hey. Can I get one of the mods to take care of that? Oh, this one cracked me right up. Back in my day when athletes took a knee, they took a knee. Okay, that's spicy. No problem. Thanks, Cracker. I don't always get COVID, but when I do, it's after 4 vaccinations. Ooh, spicy. Spicy this week. Okay. Cracker, you posted this one, right? Yeah. Deer when they hear a twig snap within 3-mile radius. Deer when a 25,000-pound semi-truck is barreling at them at 80 miles per hour. How about a cockroach crisp? Yeah, it'll be on the menu. Just wait. Just like the bug butter. Holy cow. This one killed me because I showed this to the guys at work. Plant-based mashed potatoes. Every year, billions of innocent potatoes are ripped from their families and brutally moited. But no more. Scientists at ASDA revealed today that they have created mashed potatoes made entirely from plants. Oh, Mr. Sunshine Baby, what's happening, man? Welcome to the chat. Glad to see you here. We gotta get going on that thing. We'll have that conversation that you wanted to have on your channel. I love this. If you don't know who this is, you need to get to know who this is. If y'all don't pipe down, I'll make women illegal. Justice Dankula. If you don't know what this is, so Count Dankula, he's the guy who got in trouble for the teaching his pug to do the bad guys from World War II salute. It was a joke video on the internet, but he ended up getting charged for this under British decency laws. They said he was too offensive. Anyway, later, all the way down the road to just recently, he changed his profile picture to this and started posting stuff saying that he was a Supreme Court justice, and the left lost their mind. It was so funny. And he was making statements like this. That kills me. What else do we got here? This one I definitely appreciate, and this one goes out to all those farmers out there. This is where I live, and I've been told I need to take better care of the environment by people who live here in disgusting cities. Absolutely. Or in disgusting academia, as I like to point out. This one, love it. Blazing Saddles has been just edited for television. Will air tonight from 8 o'clock to 8:07. If you don't know what Blazing Saddles is, and you don't know who Mel Brooks is, get on that. Get on that. Mel Brooks, one of my favorite directors of all times. All times. Yeah, director's cut. That would be great. But yeah, definitely Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, classics. Such good stuff. And Gene Wilder, one of my favorites. Absolutely. But yeah, that's some of the memes from this week. And my browser is now just full of tabs, and I need to empty this all out. Let's move on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. What did I want to talk about? Let's get into talking about the ArriveCAN app. This is what well, I think a lot of people should be talking about this. Some people are or whatever. A lot of people on the internet who are for it or just get it. It's not that big a deal. Now, you know what's a big deal is the government tracking my every move. Yeah, it's a big deal, and a lot of people don't like that. And well, the thing is, before I go, but my freedoms. No, we have a constitution. We have a charter of rights and freedoms, and the government does not have the right to track your every move. And that is absolutely right. The ArriveCAN app. And here we go. This is an article that just came out today. Congresswoman Stefanik demands Canada scrap the ArriveCAN app. So yeah, there's more growing pressure. She tweeted out saying, I'm calling on the Canadian government to end the required use of the ArriveCAN app. Canada's mandated use of this app has disrupted northern border travel and damaged cross-border tourism and commerce. My full letter. And then she put out this full letter. But in the interest of moving on and getting to some of the other things, I just wanted to highlight this article and how there's growing pressure from this. Now, this came to my attention today. So Algabra, as he calls it, algebra. Like, why don't you just say what your name's spelled like? Anyway, the DU baby, algebra. The guy who looks like he looks like Jeebs from Men in Black. The guy who like gets his head shot off and weasels a new head on. Yeah, algebra. He well, he was suddenly sick. He's suddenly, oh, I can't go to these hearings. I got COVID, and I'm gonna have to self-isolate. Well, of course, because you've been summoned to speak before a meeting here. So, Conservative MP Mike Barrett from Ontario asks Transport Minister Omar Al-Jabra why the government implemented travel mandates for the court documents revealed by True North's Arupa Subramania. I hope I pronounced that name right. Shows mandates had no basis in science. And this clip is so very telling. So very telling. Let's get into it.
Scientific basis for mandates, as has been indicated by officials. Why would your government institute a policy that infringed on Canadians' rights, that didn't have scientific basis, and then call a snap election a couple days later?
Ooh. Just a quick draw in the chat. What do you think he's going to answer with? Do you think he's going to answer with, hey, well, here's the rationality for why we implemented this? Or, hey, now that you say that, we're going to get rid of it. Or possibly something along those lines? Do you think that's going to be, what kind of answer do you think he's going to have? We got word salad, non-answer, cabinet confidentiality, something completely different, liberal talking points, bad deflection. Ooh, you're getting closer to the truth. He won't answer anything. Well, that's a given. Trudy's brother from another mother. There you go. Yeah. Oh, God. For the safety of Canadians, nothing rational. Blocked borders, salad coming. Word salad, not telling you. Topic. Conservatives' fault. Bonk. We're in this together. Oh, I love this. You guys are great. You guys are clever. You can write all the answers for these politicians. Celine Dion. Oh, nice. It's the truckers. Nothing rational. Omar, oh my. Omar in the Omar the tent maker type. He will blame COVID. Wef told me to do it. Oh no, that's the real answer. Everyone else is doing it. Oh, ding 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 ding. Here's the answer.
You mean the non-scientific mandates that was implemented by municipal governments? You mean the non-scientific based mandates that was implemented by provincial governments? You mean the non-scientific based mandates that was implemented by the private sector without required from government? You mean the non-scientific based mandates that was implemented by universities? You mean the non-scientific based mandates that was
Minister, I'm talking about...
Yes, those ones. That's his answer. That's his answer to a question of why did you implement this if you had no scientific basis? Well, everyone else is doing it. Everybody else was doing it. I kind of, they were all jumping off that bridge. I mean, I can't help but laugh at that. I can't help but laugh at this situation. How do you, these are the officials. This is the Minister of Transportation of Canada. This is the guy that determines transportation. He is the guy, the legislative guy, the head of it. You kidding me? Everyone else was doing it. The lemming train. There we go. Lemmings. That's it. Hard to respect. Absolutely. What in God's green earth? What is this? Anyway, let's keep going with this.
About the mandates implemented by the federal government at airports.
Governments around the world.
I'd like to quote one of your officials in court documents that were reported on by Rupa Subramania. And one of those officials is on the call today, actually, and let me quote in an email. To the extent that updated data exists or that there is clear evidence of the safety benefit of vaccination on the users or other stakeholders of the transportation system, it would be helpful to assist Transport Canada supporting its measures. That's a quote from ADM McCrory. Now, the mandates were set to be implemented, but your department didn't even have the information that that indicated it was necessary or based in science. To just circle back to your question of—
Now remember, this is the same administration, this is the same cabinet that kept saying, trust the science, trust the science. We're all gonna trust the science. And so many people were pointing out the science was like, hey, but they're saying that, it doesn't matter if you're on an airplane with somebody else that has the hokey pokey or not. It doesn't, the doctors aren't actually recommending your implementation of these rules. They're not actually implementing saying that masks are a thing on airplanes when you're sitting down. This is not what the doctors are saying, and this is not even what the CDC is saying. They're not making these recommendations. What? Here we are.
About the science that's being followed by municipalities and provinces. They have all eliminated their mandates since, yet you have not. So if you're following the same science they are, why have they all lifted their mandates, but you have not?
Right? Oh, just like that is just that is a great answer, or that is a great follow-up for that, because the Lemmings argument, they were all doing it. Hey, everybody else was doing it. Why couldn't we do it? We should all be doing it. We don't let everybody do it. No, no, for one. And even if that's your argument, why are you still doing it? Why are you still doing it? You're the only one doing it. Sorry, I'm getting upset. I'm getting heated up here. This guy is just
Mr. Chair, first of all, let me start off by saying vaccines have proven to have saved lives and continue to save lives.
I'm gonna say the thing. Everybody say the thing. He's gonna say the thing. He's saying the thing.
At a moment in time where our public health system is under a lot of pressure, vaccines continue to be an incredible tool in saving lives and protecting the health and safety of Canadians and our healthcare system. The federal government has suspended most of our mandates. The only mandate that we have is at our borders, like many countries around the world. And it is done to ensure that we minimize the importation.
BS. No other country has a ArriveCAN app that tracks you wherever you go. You're not going into the United States and installing an app on your phone that then the health agency of the US, some bureaucracy that isn't even associated with whatever, that's going to track you around your movements in the United States, and then what do you forget to uninstall it once you leave the country, and they're tracking you in your own home country after you. This is the thing. This is crazy pants. No other country's doing this. Nobody. And even in the US, the CDC has relaxed their recommendations recently. They've completely relaxed it, and they said, don't worry about it. You could be next to people who are unvaccinated, and guess what? You'll be okay. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna this isn't total BS. Absolute BS. It's just I can't deal with this guy. I just can't do it.
Of the virus, and that protects the health and safety of Canadians. And let me point my honorable colleague, on top of all studies that have been done over the last 2 years, just the last 2 months, 2 different studies. One was done by the Canadian Medical Association. One was done by UBC, the University of British Columbia, that demonstrated that these public health measures, including mandates, protect the health and safety, have saved upwards of 60,000 lives, have prevented the importation of the virus tenfold at our borders. So there's ample evidence that I'm happy to table with committee that provides justification for these vaccines.
Yeah, and show the John Hopkins study where they said that lockdowns and all of these implementations didn't help at all. And in fact, they were just damaging in other ways. We could cite all kinds of things like that. But yeah, I would like to look at that study, and I'm going to look at that because I don't buy it. And if it was actually the thing, well then let's get that in writing and let's put that in the implementation and state what the implementation. Anyway, we are stuck with this ArriveCAN app, but so many people are just saying, screw it. I'm not doing it. And well, here's one border agent that's been disciplined for publicly saying online about his disagreement with the idea of having the the ArriveCAN app at all.
Hi everyone, the entire purpose of this live is just to say hi, I'm here, or I'm back, or whatever. On my old account, I made a video where I discussed ArriveCAN and why you should delete that app off your phone. And I also posed a question. I said if you have any questions related to ArriveCAN, I'd be happy to make another video where I answer them. That's not the purpose of this video. I quite promptly received an email from the acting regional director general of the Northern Ontario region. He's a fucking loser. His name's Lance Markell, if you haven't heard of him. Absolute clown. But he threatened to fire me. Ha ha! Wonderful, Lance. Go right the fuck ahead and fire me because I'm not going to shut the fuck up ever. And if
Sorry
you
about
do
the language,
fire me, you
folks.
bet your ass I'll be seeing you in your office in person. But regardless, in response to that video, I received several outrageous messages from just law-abiding Canadian families, literally scared to go travel, telling me their horror stories from coming back from abroad. This is outrageous, guys. It is a fundamental right to leave your country and to enter as you please. You shouldn't have to be worried about a $6,500 fine. You shouldn't be getting threatened by police officers to arrest you, especially now. This late in the game, this is so outrageous. So, I'm back. I'm not going away. I'm going to end this now, but please, if you have any questions related to travel, ArriveCAN, all of that, I'll be going live again tomorrow morning, in uniform. Yeah, I'll be wearing the uniform, so they can't deny that I'm a fucking government agent. Okay, I'm going to read the Nuremberg Code word for word and politely explain why we are violating the Nuremberg Code left, right, and center still. I can't believe this has to be explained to people. And why this government is still committing crimes against humanity against its own people.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Absolutely. Scumbags, yes. Scumbags indeed. And yeah, this is the thing. Oh, I saw in the chat here. 1 second. Where was I? Oh, I keep missing the things in the chat. The chat keeps moving along as I'm trying to read it. I missed it. Someone said, just hear from Viva's channel, new sub. Welcome. But I didn't get the name now. Sorry. Oh, Plays in the Dirt. There you go. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming on over. But yeah, let's get back to ArriveCAN app. ArriveCAN, nobody is happy about it. Now, the real Andy Lee show, Twitter handle, I just followed me the other day. I don't know what exactly is going on here, or what is going on here to tell you the truth, but it begins with a $14 million non-competitive contract given to a company to help develop ArriveCAN, and it ends with a sketchy website and a company profile, another corporation, and a lakefront cottage. This is really messed up, and I really want to get to the bottom of this, and I'm gonna look more into this because I just caught this. And yeah, it's basically the government of Canada gave $2,350,000 as part of a $14 million contract to develop ArriveCAN and to a secretive company called GC Strategies. The owner listed, Cameron Weasel, might as well be Weasel, also ran GC Strategies in the US, which is suspended by the tax board in 2021, according to records, company number. So there's some shady stuff going on behind the scenes with this ArriveCAN app. I'm gonna look more into it to get more stories on this down the road, but this is just a never-ending debacle, this whole idea of this ArriveCAN app. The concept that they want to track you everywhere you go. Now, we all know that the next step, of course, let's keep it going. They're already saying that, oh, well, you know, the pandemic's waning and it's not such a big thing anymore. But why would we get rid of the ArriveCAN app? It's such a convenient tool for us anymore. And yeah, it's any of us that was saying right from the beginning, this apparatus is coming on. They're bringing it on. It's going to be a permanent infrastructure. After September 11th, we got there's TSA and security at airports, all the crazy security. That was just a new apparatus that's always going to be around. People were saying that at the time. People were, no, we just gotta, just until we defeat the terrorists. And no, absolutely not. This is forever. This is forever until we don't comply with it. It all ends when you don't comply, and that's the real gist of it. And if mass non-compliance is where it's at, and make fun of it. The whole idea is to belittle the concept of it and make it the butt of all the jokes. But yeah, 20 years later, that's right, and you're still dealing with the security theater anyway. Take your shoes off, walk through the thing, take your wallet out. Anyone who's been at an airport in the last 20 years knows the routine anymore. It's absolutely insane. I remember a day when you could actually go to the airport to meet your friends coming off the plane. Does anyone in the chat remember that? When you actually could go to where the people are coming off the sky tunnel that goes out to the plane, and you can watch your friends come out of the plane. You can go see your friends off as they get onto the plane, wait for them in the airport with them. And that used to be a thing, but not for 20 years. And now people just think that this is normal. The crazy security apparatus everywhere. It's not normal. And we need to, we can't allow them to bring on new stuff. And that's what ArriveCAN is. And it's the new stuff. Next thing you know, they're like, well, you do it at the border. Why don't you just do it to buy groceries? Why don't you get that app? It would just extend it to the rest of your life, in every aspect of your life. Hey, why not do that? Like they do in China. China's doing pretty good, aren't they? Hey, those people are loving life, aren't they? Screaming from their buildings at night. God, I don't know if to laugh or cry. I don't know if I should laugh or cry, honestly. Anyway, let's move on. It's so depressive. It's depressing. It is absolutely depressing. Yeah, so many people in the chat. I remember that. I know what it was like. I remember that. What do we got here? Are you kidding? I remember being invited to the jump seat on the Air Canada flight to Saskatoon from Toronto. That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, that'll never happen today. ArriveCAN. You're coming to Canada? You're arriving into polite communism. Yeah. Ooh. Let's move on. What is happening now? First, we had the Great Barrington Declaration. If you don't know what that is, that was a bunch of scientists and doctors and epidemiologists and whatnot getting together saying we're not doing the right moves here. We're not making the right moves. The cure is worse than the disease, is what they're saying. This is now the new declaration challenging the settled scientific consensus about lockdowns. Now comes the World Climate Declaration, challenging the computer models predicting environmental catastrophe. Hey. What is the definition of insanity? Anybody? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. Yeah, absolutely. That is insanity. And that's what we've been doing when it comes to climate science, using the same models that always produce nothing but a hockey stick. Exponential graph, here we go. I got a very expensive computer model that's an exponential graph modulator. that is modern climate science, but that's where we are. Yeah, Greta Thunberg here. Oh goodness, the propagandist, old enough to make fun of now. You're not making fun of a little child anymore if you make fun of this one in particular. But why don't we get into some of this? I love freedom, $5. Have you seen Uninformed Consent? It's on Library. Everyone's been sending me it, and I haven't had time to watch it. I really want to find the time to watch it. My life has been insanely busy these days. Just to give you a little breakdown of how my day goes every day. wake up at the crack of 4, hopefully not today, slept in, unfortunately. I don't know, I just needed to catch up on sleep, I guess. My body was like, nah, you're not getting up. Wake up at the crack of dawn, well before dawn. I come into my little studio that I've built here in my garage, and I make videos in the morning. And then I get things together. Wifey makes me some lunch and a coffee to take with me to work. I head off to work. I get to work, and I fix cars all day. I fix cars, diagnose problems, and I'm also listening all day long to ebooks or, audio books, podcasts, news, all of this stuff. Doing all that I can to fill my brain with all this craziness that I spew out on the channel every Friday at the end of the day. And then, yeah, I come home and I be a dad to my kids and a husband to my wife. And then I try to get to bed and then do it all over again. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm really, 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 really busy. But I really want to watch some things, but I never seem to get around to it. Wow, you get up early. Yes, I do. I find if I don't get up early, my most productive time is right after I get up. I just get stuff done, get going with it. If I know I have a time limit too, because I've got until 7 to make at least 2 videos, like record them, record, and then upload, make a catchy clickbaity thumbnail that people will want to click on. There's a whole routine, but yeah, you got to make a routine of it. The key to success is consistency and just keep sticking with it. Anyway, I do want to watch that. Everyone sent me links to it, and I'm gonna check it out. No getting away from that one. So here we go. Let's get on to this. This is the why are you loading for so long? Let's more options. Reject all. See you later. Reject all. Save and exit. Okay. Wow. Small print. Little tiny print. Let's get that bigger. I'm a boomer with my terrible eyes. The political fiction that humans cause most or all climate change, and the claim that the science behind the notion is settled, in quotes, has been dealt a savage blow by the publication of a World Climate Declaration, WCD for short, signed by over 1,100 scientists and professionals. So these aren't just randos. These are people involved in the actual science behind this stuff. So stepping up to the plate and saying, nah, I'm putting my career on the line for this, as we know this is how it is, actually. There is no climate emergency, says the authors, who are drawn from across the world led by the Norwegian Physics Nobel Prize laureate, Professor Ivar Gaever. I'm never pronouncing these things right. Climate science is said to have degenerated into a discussion based on beliefs, not on sound, self-critical science. Corn Pop. No way. Corn Pop's in my chat with a $1.99 super chat. Wow. You didn't ban. You look. What? Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, some things you're not allowed to say. I think there's going to be a warning at the bottom of this one saying, the climate science is settled. I'm reading a report about people that disagree with that. Wow, Ivar Gaever is mentioned. Yeah, right here. The scale of the opposition to modern day settled climate science is remarkable, given how difficult it is in academia to raise grants for any climate research that departs from the political orthodoxy. A full list of signatories is available here. Another lead author of the declaration, Professor Richard Lindzen, has called the current climate narrative absurd, but acknowledged that trillions of dollars and the relentless propaganda from grant-dependent academics and agenda-driven journalists currently says it's not absurd. particular ire in the WCD is reserved for climate models. To believe in the outcome of a climate model is to believe in what the model makers have put in. Climate models are now central to today's climate discussion, and the scientists see this as a problem. We should free ourselves from the naive belief in immature climate models, says WCD. In future, climate research must give significantly more emphasis to empirical science. This sounds pretty damning of where the models are. Since the emerging from the Little Ice Age around 1850, the world has warmed significantly less than predicted by the IPCC on the basis of modeled human influence. The gap between the real world and the modeled world tells us that we are far from understanding climate change, the WCD notes. Now, this is absolutely true. If you have a prediction model and the predictions are clearly always wrong, you throw the model out. You don't just keep putting numbers into it going, it'll be right eventually. These are the outcomes that we want. If it doesn't reflect nature, I mean, what is science anyway? It's making observations on nature and then having variables and then having a predictability to it. If there's no predictability, then you haven't understood it. And that is the concept of science. You cannot make a model that has zero ability to actually predict the reality of the situation. We were supposed to. How many times were we told that New York was going to be underwater by 2001? Underwater by 2001 if we don't stop our ways. We didn't stop our ways. In fact, we just kept going. And in fact, the third world contributed even more in that time. In that time, there was more. Now, this will largely be ignored because there is an agenda at hand. I mean, it's honestly, here's the great scam. And it came right after Al Gore's story, his groundbreaking film where he's just talking to people about his childhood and then goes into a bunch of nonsense afterwards to get people to basically get into this new scam, the new scam of climate, or what is it, carbon credits. And carbon credits is no different than what Martin Luther was fighting against in the Reformation, against the church. If you banned corn pop, I didn't ban corn pop. Corn pop's cousin with the 199 super chat. Well, thanks for the super chat. I didn't ban corn pop unless one of my mods did. Nope. Cracker saying corn pop wasn't banned. Oop. Yeah, those bots, they jump in there. They'll get you quick. They'll get you right quick. Anyway, so the Reformation came about, the whole Protestant church came about with Martin Luther going against the church because they had the scam, the double plus good scam. Hey, guess what? We're double plus good when it comes to sins. Everyone's got original sin anyway. And you know what you could do? You can come in and buy our good points because we're real good, us clergymen. And you can buy our good points. We'll call them something. How about indulgences? And when you go out and you do your sinning and all that stuff, when you come back, you can buy good points from us because we're always good. And that's it was such a scheme. It was a scheme and it worked and people bought into it. But that was the thing. And then the Reformation happened. We're going through the same thing again with this carbon credits garbage. But yeah, it's an old grift. Absolutely an old grift, just under a new religion. It's the religion of climate alarmism. But this is the thing. So the declaration is an event of enormous importance, I guess it meant to say, although it will be ignored by the mainstream media, absolutely. But it's not the first time distinguished scientists have petitioned for more realism in climate science. In Italy, the discoverer of nuclear antimatter Emeritus Professor Antonio Ziccici. Really? Wow, that is quite the name. Antonio Ziccici. He is a emeritus professor. Recently led 48 local science professors in stating that the human responsibility for climate change is unjustifiably exaggerated and catastrophic predictions are not realistic in their scientific view. Natural variation explains a substantial part of global warming observed since 1850. Professor Ziccici has signed the WCD. Awesome. So, but this is where we're going with this. I just got a book and I've been reading through this recently, and this is The Fake Invisible Catastrophes and Threats of Doom by Patrick Moore. Fantastic book. And let me just read an excerpt from this book. This is Carbon Dioxide and the Greening of the Earth. And I really like this book because there's all kinds of illustrations. It gives you demonstrations of what's going on. Actually, fantastic book. Pretty easy read. Written in just a simple. It's not too scientific, I guess. It's not a lot of jargon. Essentially, it's a great book you can read and understand. On one hand, carbon dioxide has been branded a pollutant by the alarmists and even legally designated as such by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency under President Obama. Many other countries are treating it as if it's a large negative factor for climate and civilization. On the other hand, CO2 is the stuff of life, and it is proving to be extremely positive factor for the planet, for the plant life, as we increase its concentration in the global atmosphere. This is primarily demarcation in the debate about increasing carbon dioxide. Is it not entirely negative? It is partly negative and partly positive. Or is it entirely positive? I fall into the latter camp of thinking and believing I can defend that position with confidence. So this is the idea that CO2 may be a good thing, actually. And there's a lot of climate scientists that are actually saying this. And this is getting into the idea of the greening of the earth, in quotes. The greening of the earth due to our CO2 emissions caused by an increase in the atmospheric level of carbon dioxide has been known for some time. There is the unproven hypothesis based on only 170 years of climate change that claims CO2 is a control knob, in quotes, and one that is causing global warming and is entirely negative. To the contrary, the global greening effect of carbon dioxide is, without a doubt, proven to be true and is based on real measurements rather than computer models, false consensuses, and contrived narratives. So here we are. And by the way, Patrick Moore was one of the founders of Greenpeace, but left because they got crazy. They went crazy pants, political, and had to get out. He helped found Greenpeace because they were doing nuclear testing in the North Pacific, and that was horrible. So they put themselves on the line to have that ended. He's also a forestries guy in Canada who grew up in Vancouver Island, north part of the Vancouver Island, instrumental in reforming the forestries industry and helping to rejuvenate it in a way where we're actually logging and then planting and leaving certain trees and root systems in to foster better growth and management of the forestries industry. He thought it was absolutely terrible what Greenpeace ended up doing with their eco-terrorism, driving stakes into trees, doing all kinds of horrible things, but ended up leading the charge in responsible logging rather than just clear cutting and destroying areas. So this is the difference between environmentalism and being environmental. Like, some people are just mental. Holy cow. But yeah, here's one of the best demonstrations of the increase in plant growth caused by the additional CO2 was conducted by Sherwood Idso, the founder of the website co2science.org. And see figure 21, page 54. So here it is in figure 21. I'll just read this to you. All 4 trees were grown under the same conditions except for the concentration of CO2 in their plastic enclosures. This is why the earth is greening, and as we elevate carbon dioxide in the atmosphere nearly by 50% from starvation level of 280 parts per million to 415 parts per million. So 215 parts per million is currently where we're at, because they measure it at some place in Hawaii, and it's a consistent place. They'll always get the same measurement. So this is supposed to be a global average. 415 parts per million of CO2 in the air. And so previously it was down to 280, which is not good. So it can be seen from this experiment that there is room for much more growth in trees, food crops, and other plants as CO2 continues to rise more optimum levels for plant life. Absolutely. The level of 835 ppm of carbon dioxide allows trees to grow more than double the rate of 385. This photo was taken in 2009 when atmospheric CO2 was about 385 parts per million. And I'll show you the photograph here. You can see that with less CO2, the trees didn't grow, and the more CO2 that they had available to them, the more they grew. And you can see NASA satellite imagery where you can see the greening of the planet. And this is what we're talking about. And this book is really fascinating, and I'm glad I was able to share some of this from it. And yeah, he gets into GMOs and all kinds of things. The fear of invisible radiation from nuclear energy. Just all kinds of nonsense that people believe in because it's been propagandized onto a lot of us. The science is settled. That's right. That's what they'll tell you. Because CO2 is what plants use. They take it in and give us oxygen. Absolutely. One thing I didn't know, but you could go on to a cornfield in the middle of the day as it's growing, and as the sun comes out and photosynthesis starts to occur, those plants will suck the CO2 so hard out of that air, you'll get really, really low readings down to like 150 parts per million. Yeah, that's story time with Clyde. Absolutely. But this is what we're dealing with. This is climate alarmism, and it's just crazy pants. It's just absolutely crazy pants what's going on here. But here are some wise words from the late Carl Sagan, and this kind of ties into what I was talking about when it's the separation of state and academia that we need to actually fight really hard for bringing about. I really, really honestly believe this, and here's some wise words from the late great Carl Sagan.
There's 2 kinds of dangers. One is what I just talked about, that we've arranged a society based on science and technology in which nobody understands anything about science and technology. And this combustible mixture of ignorance and power, sooner or later, is going to blow up in our faces. I mean, who is running the science and technology in a democracy if the people don't know anything about it? And the second reason that I'm worried about this is that science is more than a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we're up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes ambling along. It's a thing that Jefferson lay great stress on. It wasn't enough, he said, to enshrine some rights in a constitution or a Bill of Rights. The people had to be educated, and they had to practice their skepticism and their education. Otherwise, we don't run the government. The government runs us.
Amazing. Amazing. It's like he's predicting exactly what we're going through right now. People need to understand how this stuff works. I mean, I was always a student that, and a kid that's just absolutely enthralled with the idea of science. I love science. I've always loved just watching shows on it, reading books about science. This is why I ended up becoming a mechanic, because I can do science every day. I mean, essentially that's cars work, and when they break down, you have to figure out what goes wrong in a car. You have to understand how they work and how the physics of it all operates, and then try to explain that to somebody so that they can explain it to the customer. That's like explaining it to a service writer. These are all things that we do as technicians, and we all live in a world of science, but there's this massive separation, and people have become ignorant to it, but they also worship it. And like Carl Sagan said, any charlatan can come around when people just don't know what's going on. And like I said, this is why we need a separation of church and state when it comes to educational institutions, and this idea of we just follow the science. Anyway, moving on. The cult of climate science is another death cult. It's another, and I call it a death cult because it's an end of times cult, right? The end is coming. Give us all your power and all the things, and we'll control your life, and it'll be good. It'll all be good. The end is near, and this is absolutely what's going on with that. So, without saying, do your own research. Go read stuff about it. There's a lot of information out there. There's so much knowledge out there, and not everybody. Exactly, Kool-Aid drinkers. Not everyone is drinking the Kool-Aid. It's so good. What about Dr. John Robson and CDN? I don't know. I don't know Dr. John Robson. I'm gonna copy and paste that. Oop. And look that up. I'm gonna look that up. There are so many people coming out and talking about this, but because any Cotton Schwab, chat, Clyde, love, light, respect, blessings, and many thanks for being you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys are all awesome. I love hanging with you guys every Friday night. But yeah, there is so much information out there. Get your hands on some of them. I recommend this book. This is a really good, easy read. This is just one of many that you can get your hands on, but that's The Fake Invisible Catastrophes and Threats of Doom by Patrick Moore. You can get it on Amazon. It's quite cheap. And I do definitely recommend it. So get on out there and get on it. But there are other great books and other things you can read. There is interesting fact, the Four Horsemen. The last one is pale green. Ring a bell. Yeah, right. I call them watermelons because they're green on the outside and they're communist center bright red. That's environmentalists, environmental patients, I like to call them, and that's absolutely what they are. They're Kool-Aid drinkers. They're trust the science. Well, show me the science. Science is skeptical. This is a thing. We can be skeptical of it. No, you're a denier. What? I'm a science denier? That doesn't mix well. That doesn't mix well. Asking for evidence and then being told you're a denier for asking for evidence for a thing rubs me the wrong way when it comes to science. Clyde, make a shirt that says environmentalist. I need to. I need to. I think I might do that. I think I might do that. That's definitely a great idea. But I'll get to that one. Lol Clyde, good one. Watermelons. I didn't make up that one. I got that from somewhere else. I don't remember where I got it. It might have been Patrick Moore that said that in an interview. But yeah, watermelons. It's not my own, but it's a really good analogy because that's what it is. They're green on the outside, commie red when you crack them open. That's absolutely true. Science is intended to be reviewed, absolutely, and it should be scrutinized. If it doesn't hold up to scrutiny, then we change our minds. This is how it works. You know what I mean? Don't be steadfast in some belief. Make observations, and if you leave your pride out of it. It's so easy to get wrapped up in your pride. I said this, and now I gotta stick to that. No, now I gotta, all this. No, just swallow your pride and just say, oh, well, it looks like I was wrong about that. Can we move on and be right from now on? The best part about admitting you were wrong is after which you're right. You're no longer wrong. Like, how hard is that? Why would you want to be wrong all the time? Just if evidence comes to the contrary, then just be right. Just become right instead of remaining wrong. People I never understood that concept. You want to not be wrong, so you'll be wrong, but try to encourage people to believe that you're not. It's beyond me. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway, speaking about being totally wrong. Oh, Linda Hunter with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Love this stream and chat at a good time for us Aussies. It is midday here. The communities are so important for sharing info and moral support. Exactly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like I say, every time, the best community on the internet right here. Yeah, I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are great. Anyway, let's talk more about what people were wrong. The Chinese economy is experiencing a near complete collapse. Nearly 500,000 customers have lost their deposits as the banks lend indiscriminately to housing developers who are now facing cascading defaults. Hey, does that sound familiar anyway? Maybe. Here's the story of the Chinese government that the Chinese government doesn't want you to know. And here we go. This is a thread from Graham Stefan. Great thread here. All of this begins with the one thing: real estate. Chinese are obsessed with real estate, and 70% of China's wealth is tied, to real estate. Twice as high as the US. Is that twice as high as Canada? I don't know. Just take a guess at how much money is wrapped up in the Canadian real estate market at the moment, and how much is at risk because of interest rates. Just imagine what would happen if interest rates were to go up in Canada. Anyway, we're talking about China right now. Reports are now emerging about real estate Ponzi schemes, mortgage boycotts, and unfolding banking crisis. Real estate bubble, mortgages, defaults, and banking crisis in China. I almost said Canada. 08 veterans pointing. Cornpap with another $1.99 super chat. Call me Miley Groot America. I'm sorry, I don't get these references, but love the super chats and thank you so much. Anonymous, the $10 super chat. Thanks, Clyde. Love your work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anonymous. I really appreciate that. Chinese citizens prefer to invest in real estate as Chinese stock market is notoriously opaque and unreliable. The Shanghai Composite, similar to our S&P 500, has not yet recovered from its 08 peak, despite China's GDP growing nearly 3 times since then. For some context on how crazy the real estate market is in China, the median home price in New York is around 10 times the median annual income. But in Beijing, This can be as high as 25 times the median annual income. Now that sounds awfully familiar for anyone who lives in Vancouver. How much do you make? My house is worth $2.2 million. How much you make? 40K a year. Come on. This is actually ridiculous. Ridiculous. But this is happening in China. We're paying attention to it there. But everybody's kind of whoop about what's going on in Canada. Corn Pop, I support you. I'm not banned. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Ghost cities. I'm getting there. Clyde, drink something. I'm gonna have some wobbly pops with you guys in the chat later in Discord. Not too much longer, actually. But yeah, let's do that. Let's go have some wobbly pops and hang out in the Discord. Not just yet, but we're gonna get there. Clyde would become dangerous if he drank. Would I? I don't know. I go on rants. I definitely do that. Wobbly pops, part of stream coming up shortly. Absolutely. Viva loves you at Corn Pop. You're not banned. Okay. Anyway, let's get into this. Anyway, this is a really good read. Basically, it gets to what's going on in China. So basically, what's happened there, and currently they have, and this is footage courtesy of Serpensa. If you don't know who he is, definitely go over and subscribe to his channel. Also, Lawai86, great commentary on China, what's going on there. They lived there for a good amount of time, and they traveled around. They traveled around on their motorcycles, and they checked out these places, and it's just eerie, these ghost cities that exist. And it's all because people think that they need to invest in real estate. Real estate is the thing to buy. And it's not unsimilar to what they tell you here. But everyone who has any sort of money ties it up into real estate. And people are breaking their backs to buy this stuff. And it's unbelievable what you're seeing over there. I'm seeing footage here, but let's get into some of these ghost city footages. So this here, it's entire cities. Nobody lives there. Like, they're empty buildings. There's no one there. And they're just all over the place, scattered throughout China. But this is where people are putting their investments. This is, if you know anything about how economies grow and how it all works, this is the most ludicrous thing to put your money into. These empty husks of buildings across China. These cities with big things. And this is all, it's all incentivized by the government pushing people into this market. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, it's all manufactured. It's how can you look at that and go, it looks like a full-on city, but all of this is in disarray as well. They just come in, cookie cutter, build cities, and then walk away from it. Now, what's happening in China, though, is there's an economic downturn occurring at the moment. And all these people are looking at their investments and they're like, okay, well, how can I cash out? Or they've been wanting to take their money out of the banks. And the banks didn't have their money, it turns out, because of economic downturn. So with reports suggesting that over 400,000 customers have fallen victim to such activities, public trust in the banking system plummeted, and the government stepped in to avoid bank runs and liquidity crunches. But their strategies seemed at best questionable. So these people coming in, the government has agreed to pay up to $15,000 for lost deposits. Sounds like the CDIC, the Canadian Bankers Deposit Insurance. But only if the banks weren't involved in non-compliant transactions. Wow. The government strategy to over leverage properties is to lend more money to finish them and pretend that everything is fine. Nothing to see here, folks. Please get back. to work. Real estate bubble bursting, banking crisis, the Chinese government. Whether these strategies can revive investor confidence or simply delaying the inevitable remains to be seen. But China is unlikely to meet its targeted 5.5% of GDP growth rate. And right now, youth unemployment is at nearly 20%. This is insane. What's happening in China? Not hearing a lot about this. What is this? Oh, that's just awesome. Sorry, I was just like, squirrel. Totally distracted here. But yeah, so this is what's happening over in China, and it's just craziness. But this is what we're getting over here right now. I'm going into all kinds of things here. Our job is not done yet. Tiff McCallum says Bank of Canada has more to do to tame inflation. And we're seeing very similar situations over in Canada. We have people massively over leveraged in the housing market, buying properties that they just can hardly afford. And right now it seems to be cooling off. And right at a time that to stave off inflation, which is now at 7.6% in July from an earlier compared to 8.1% in the previous month, representing the first year-over-year decrease since June. So they're raising interest rates at the Bank of Canada in order to stave off inflation. Well, what does this mean to the housing market that's over leveraged at the moment? Well, over 50% of new mortgages just in this past year are variable rate mortgages. When the interest rates go up, people's mortgages are going to adjust. Now, what's been happening in Canada, and I spoke to someone who works in the real estate market, not as an agent, because they're just I'm not going to say it, but what I heard is actually happening right now is to not have the market crash completely, because it's been cooling off, and a lot of people selling properties right now are in my town. They've lost 20% of their value. Apparently, this is what I'm hearing. Now, what's happening to a lot of these mortgages, instead of the monthly rates going up, the lenders are actually backloading the mortgages, and they're just adding more time. Some people are getting like 60-year mortgages when they add a 30-year mortgage, and then suddenly just realizing, oh no, it's actually a 60-year mortgage, just to keep my rates from putting these people underwater. And the idea of being underwater on your mortgage is the idea that you're paying less per month than is paying off the principal. It would be growing as a result. Why you banning me from your server? I didn't. What? Nobody. Mortgage poor. That's right. Banks aren't giving out locked in loans either. Only variable loans. Is that right? So there's only variable rate loans going out just at this rate. So someone I know has a friend who just upped his property. He had $800,000 in equity, bought a house for 1.8, 1.6, doubled what he has essentially in the size of the loan. So he had his house paid off, $800,000. Boom. Give me another $800,000 in a loan to buy a 1.6 house. Was in the house for a few months. Market came down. He lost value. The equitable value in his house went down to 1.3. He lost $300,000 in that exchange. That quick. Overnight. Evaporated. This is what's happening right now. It's crazy. Value of my property went from $700,000 to $600,000 last month. This is happening. It's happening. And what And this is all because of mortgages, the interest rates going up. Well, the Bank of Canada right now is caught between a rock and a hard place. So right now they're at a point where it's like, okay, let inflation go wild or hurt the housing market. And most people's values are all based around this housing market. It is not going good. So there's no way to win. There's no win-win here. Something's got to give. We're just waiting to see what it's going to be. But we can't forget a time that even the Federal Reserve in the United States back in the early 80s, the prime rate went up to 19.5%. If people think that, 5% rates is crazy, that you haven't seen anything yet. This could be in line for people. Now, because of the crazy prices in Canada for a house, I did a story talking about this. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney kicks off a campaign to attract skilled workers from BC and elsewhere. And this is because, well, there's a shortage of skilled workers, period. And they've kicked off this campaign, just in case you haven't seen the video. Premier Jason Kenney kicked off a campaign to lure skilled workers in from Toronto and Vancouver. Again, the writer thinking that the only things that exist in Ontario and British Columbia are these two cities. It's to convince people from everywhere. Anyway, my first mortgage is 17%. That's crazy. You couldn't afford that today if on a house. It's just, yeah, nobody likes Kenny. But here's the funny thing. So he's trying to entice people to come from British Columbia, skilled workers, obviously. They just want the skilled workers. Sorry for all those people that don't have skills. Alberta doesn't want you. But skilled workers, in other words, tradesmen, stuff like that, want you to come to Alberta. It's awesome if you come to Alberta. And guess what? Their big enticement, their big campaign is to show people that it is cheaper to live in Alberta, the affordability. Let me just pop up some of these, excuse me. Some of these, trying to pull it out of this video, but it's just affordability. Provincial sales tax in Alberta, blurry. Anyway, provincial sales tax in Alberta is 0%. Average residential rent is $1,266. Provincial fuel tax in Alberta, 0 cents on the liter. And yeah, they're trying to convince people. Oh, okay, here's the stats. To buy a house in Edmonton is $494,000. Buy a house in Vancouver, $2 million. You can't get that. You can't get that. Average rent in BC is $2,456 a month for a house in BC. Same house in Alberta will get you $1,266 a month. Now, I had a really funny comment on the channel, and I love this. This is for the Alberta Launches campaign to poach skilled workers from the rest of Canada. I love how $500,000 is better than $2 million. I can't afford $500K. And I work in the damn oil sands. I moved to Alberta where the housing cost is less reasonable, yet completely unreasonable. I love this comment because this is it. Like, move to Alberta where, and I'm sorry for anybody who lives in Alberta. I'm not saying that your province sucks, but it's cold. You're trying to get people who live in sunny British Columbia to move to blistery cold, windy Alberta. Yikes. It's kind of hard to make that change, but that's not to say that people aren't making that change. My shop lost a technician to go move to Alberta just recently. And the reason? He wanted to buy a house. And he just can't get into this market. There's no way. Absolutely no way. Alberta is cold? Do you support carbon taxes? Someone said, so Clyde, when are you moving to Alberta? Because I made this video, and my response was, well, when's that global warming's meant to take place? I've been waiting. Let me know. Let me know if it ever happens. That's definitely a thing. Things to discuss while awaiting indictments. I don't know the context of that. Calgary has the most sunny days per annum of all Canada. Yeah, sunny and minus 25. Amazing. Sounds great. Now, it rains a lot here. Like, don't get me wrong, it rains a lot here. But the summer is beautiful. And, well, we can all have our arguments on what's worse, rain all the time or cold cold for so many months. Chinooks, that's a thing. That is a thing. But during this whole discussion, not once did anyone talk about why there's a skilled labor shortage. And that's what really cracked me up about this whole concept. Now, this reminds me of this old poster that would go around in high schools and stuff. And this is work smart, not hard. And it's like, look at me, I'm a smarty smart pants. And look, I got a college diploma. And then you got, grungy, dirty, crappy tradesmen. Why would you want to end up like this guy? Why would you want to end up like this guy? So many people in the chat just at the beginning of the stream saying, Clyde, you don't look like a grease monkey. You're not even dirty. I love that comment. That was really good. But here's the thing. This isn't how it actually plays out, but they've demonized the idea of becoming a tradesman. You're a dumb yokel. You're a big dummy. Only dummies get into the trades. Why? That was the thing. When I was growing up in school, there was there was high schools for trades that worked on the trades. They actually geared towards getting people into the trades. They were known as the dumb people school. How is that true? How is that true? You tell me. How are people dumb? Anyway, this was a good one. So this was, what's his name? Mike Rowe. He made this. He says, in 1977, this poster was hanging in my guidance counselor's office. I think it's quite possibly the worst advice I ever seen. I hated it so much. I changed it to this. And this is so much more fitting. And it's the sad guy with a diploma and no job right next to the other guy, and it says, work smart and hard. Because this is what it's like to be a technician. You think you can get into the trades and be a dummy? Good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. I wish you so much success. But I've seen it. I've seen it over the years. I've seen dummies try to get into the trades, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I can change a tire." Well, I don't know why. And this is a crappy thing. I shouldn't do it. But people do the Southern accent when they're when they're trying to act like someone who's dumb. I shouldn't do that. I know a lot of great Southern people. You know what? Every time I hear the Southern drawl, I always just think, I bet you that person's so nice. I've met so many really nice people, Southern folks. Anyway, I shouldn't do that. But everybody thinks you're a big goober if you're getting into the trades. Now, I've seen goobers try their luck at working in shops. And it never ends well. It never ends well because you really got to have some knowledge and know how things work. There's a lot of science to being a mechanic. There's a lot of skills that you have to learn, remember, retain. And then there's just the stress of just always, you know what? And this is what I always, and I'm just getting into the stress part. The reason why we're so mean to each other and for people who aren't in the trades, they hear shop talk and they hear people making fun of each other. It's a part of what we do, and it's a way of weeding out the worst of us. It's a way of weeding people out of people who don't belong in the job. And being rude to people, it's not really being rude, it's razzing people. But the idea behind it is that, banter. So the idea behind it is our job is extremely stressful. Like, it's very stressful to have that much on your plate, to have that much responsibility, and you got people's safety and lives in your hands when you're fixing cars and stuff. and you have deadlines, and it's stressful, and people will be at each other's throats. So to get to weed out, what is it, to separate the wheat from the chaff, this is what we do. We torment each other. Because if you can't handle it, if you can't handle doing your job and getting made fun of like royally, and you get all choked up and you go running home crying, you're not meant for the job. And it's the quickest way to separate the wheat from the chaff. You torment them out of it. And holy cow, banter is not stressful. Banter is like a sandstorm. Yes. No, but it's fun. It becomes fun, and that's what you do. You make fun of each other all the time. But if you can't handle that, you don't belong in a shop. Just like straight up. And this is why I don't think the woke culture is going to end up in the trades. It just can't. And when it does, it just doesn't end up well. And then you're just not gonna. You won't have a successful shop, and you won't have people wanting to work for you. I don't see it. I just don't see it at all. But that's wow, not impressed must be the Gen X. I don't know what that was. What is a woke mechanic? Imagine that. So we tried changing the bearing, but it turns out that didn't fix it. But you're still gonna have to pay, because the mechanic thinks it's fixed. Well, I'm sorry, sir. That's his truth. It's just his truth. You know, it doesn't work that way. You can't have your truth in the technical world. It just does not happen. So yeah, we can't have woke mechanics. A mechanic who uses plastic wrenches. I identify as a mechanic. Pronouns are grease and monkey. Love it. I love it. Don't confuse the torque specs. Oh, you guys. Bearings don't lie. I'm trying to imagine. Your car identifies as fixed. You know what's so funny about that is there's a website called Identifix that us technicians use. Oh man, you just can't make this stuff up. Did you just assume a part on my car? Oh, the core is metal. Dude, you crack me up. Thanks. Duct tape and WD-40. That's all you need in life. Yeah. Oh, too funny. WD-40 is such a funny thing. People use it as a lubricant. It's not even a lubricant. The term WD-40 is the lab name for it, and it just ended up becoming the product name. As water displacement 40th attempt. It was made for wiping down rockets so that dew wouldn't form on the rockets. That's a fact. But it's a really good degreaser. It's a great degreaser. And but yeah, definitely put a lubricant on after you WD-40 something. Yeah, that's right. Water displacement 40x. I guess I spoiled the moment. Sorry. What? I don't know. Anyway, I've been having too much fun. It's been over 2 hours. I try to cut it. I try not to go too much over 2 hours in these live streams. I originally tried to keep it at an hour, and that just was never enough time. It was never enough time on a Friday. But I really enjoy having these streams. I have so much fun with you guys. But from now on, from here, I'm going to be taking this to the Discord, and you guys are welcome to join. There's a link down in the description down below. There's a link in all of my videos for the Discord community, but you can jump in there every time I do a live stream. Afterwards, I jump into the Discord community where everybody's hanging out. We all have a conversation, get to have everybody voice their opinions, get to hear from everybody. Even if you don't want to jump in and chat and you just want to lurk and listen, that's no problem. Jump in, have a listen. There's a lot of good stuff going on in the community. So you can come check that out. A woke mechanic orders the electric car parts off Amazon. Some people do order parts off Amazon. I've been in a pinch where you can't get some JDM thing or whatever. JDM means Japanese domestic market cars. People love them over here. I don't get it. Don't ever buy a right-hand drive. Just don't do it. They suck. It's not that, well, they would be awesome if we can get parts for them. They just, yeah, that sucks. Anyway, I'm getting back into it. So I had a lot of fun. This has been a heck of a day. And for all those new people that came over from Viva's channel, welcome to the community. You'll love it here. You'll love your stay. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the Discord in a few moments. Keep on trucking.